It all started with a question one Saturday morning when I was very young. We had neighbors that would always go to church on Saturdays, and I didn't understand why. By the way, we even had the neighborhood church that would go to church on Saturday, and we thought like these people were, and like maybe witches doing rituals and so on. I didn't really know why did they used to go on Saturdays, and I never really minded. But it was this one Saturday morning whereby our neighbors greeted us who would go to church on Saturdays. After greeting us, a question popped up in my mind. Why do you go 2 days to church? Like, why do some people go on Sunday and some on Saturday? By then, we would go on Sunday. So I don't really know why it happened. Just when I entered when I was in the house, the thought was becoming more impressed in my mind. Like, I was just curious to find out. But as every normal child, I ignored the thought. I ignored the issue of trying to find out why, without knowing that the thought was still there. The question was still in my mind, was just packed somewhere that would be revealed later. So I lived a normal as a kid. I was naughty. I did stuff, naughty things, and the question came back after some years. The question still came. I still now started to question, when you get into society, you start now thinking for yourself. You want to have a reason for everything as you grow. Many questions now are coming. Okay, from now, why do you go to church on 2 days? There are now rumors about mark of the beast, all those things. So I just curious to know, but sadly, I didn't grow in a setup whereby there would be Bible studies and something like that. That's not the setup I grew in. So I didn't grow with the Bible in my eyes, or Bible stories or something like that, or anybody to explain it to me. So it was on my own. So I began searching. I went churches after churches. This thing of like, as every young person, you follow the family where they go. That's how I was as well. So I just followed where my parents would go, where those taking care of me would go, my siblings would go. I'll just follow them. I've been in churches such as, I've been Catholic. I've been in some Protestant churches. I don't know the names. I've been in Jehovah's Witness. I've been in EBC. I've been finally in these prophetic churches. But when I came about the prophetic churches, that's the time where I want to now to get the answers for these things. But honestly, to all these churches that I've walked, nothing ever became clear to me. And by the way, I was not even interested in the things of God in the first place. But around the time I was in these prophetic churches, that's where it just got so intense. I was just so interested to find out something was pushing me, like, you need to know about this. You need to understand this. You need to get the answers for these questions. So I began searching. I began also hoping maybe this prophet will make everything clear, but the more they tried to touch on those topics, it was just becoming worse. That's the moment I realized I must search on it for myself. So that's when I stopped going to church. I was just at home. Some people didn't understand what was going on, but me, I knew what was going on. So I began studying. During my studies, what happened? Back in the years before I became interested with God, a friend of mine approached me. He was SDA. He's now late. He gave me a book. He gave me a book titled The Great Hope. So I just kept the book. I never read it. Then, later in my life, somebody gives me the same book titled The Great Hope. So why is this happening to me? So I began reading the book, The Great Hope. It was so interesting. Things were becoming clear. But that wasn't only. I planned, let me read every day one chapter of it, as well as reading from the Bible. So I did this. It was now a daily routine. I read a chapter from the Bible. I also read from the book. Or sometimes I would read from the book, then recheck with the Bible. If it's going hand in hand, then it was really going hand in hand. Eventually, my question was answered when I came to learn about something called the Dark Ages. I'm like, what's the Dark Age? It was the time when the Bible was forbidden. Then many corruptible things were coming into the church. That's how eventually Sunday came into place, which was a day that the pagans would worship. So like, wow, things were becoming so clear. But during this same time, I also got some people on YouTube. I was watching several videos, like I test everything, like, is it worth spending my time on this? So I was scrolling until I came up with this guy, Attila Kakarot, which is School for Prophets. This is one of the main channels that really helped me during my studies. So I spent watching the videos that almost my storage was getting full with the videos from School for Prophets. Because I was just so hungry. When you're hungry, like you just can't get tired of getting to know the truth, of getting to know the word. So I began watching him, and it really inspired me how he was playing with the scriptures. It goes there little, it takes from there, boom. This is the meaning of this is the meaning of this. And eventually I came across it, From Babylon to America, from School for Prophets, From Babylon to America, which is a documentary that explained everything from the ancient times to the modern day. They're like, wow. So during the same process in YouTube, I came across again another one, Hope Through Prophecy, led by Dustin Pursley. And something was sounding fishy to me. Like, when I was listening to Dustin, it's as if I was listening again to Tiller. I didn't know that they were Seventh-day Adventists, because the way they were just presenting the message was just so similar. Later I came to find out that's actually every true Adventist is. Like, at the end of the day, they end up agreeing on topics because they want to go by the Bible and the Bible only. So as I was watching them, I was really convinced, like, before even like coming to this conclusion, I just convinced that there has to be a church that must have an important role in these last days. That's why I came now to learn about the three angels message, preaching this specific message, and this church would preach this message. And I came to learn in Revelation chapter 12, where the woman which represents the church according to Bible prophecy is being persecuted by Satan because why? They keep the commandments of God. So Satan is against those who keep the commandments of God. So everything was becoming clear that, okay, people worship on 2 days because back in history, something had happened, as was prophesied in Daniel chapter 7, verse 25, that there would come a superpower that will eventually try to change times and laws. They didn't change the 10 commandments of God. They thought they would change. But sadly, many people today follow that law blindly. Because according to God, nothing has changed. They tried, but they can't change God's law. They can't. But today, people still observe a day that they weren't supposed to observe. So my questions were clear now. Everything was settled. Even that book, The Great Hope, was settled. By the way, for those who know, the book I'm talking about was written by Ellen White. By then I didn't know it, by the way, but it was just going hand in hand because I was checking history as well, like trying to compare. Okay, is the Bible agreeing on it? Is history agreeing on it? Everything was just so clear. I come across YouTube, From Babylon to America. I came to Hope Through Prophecy, and eventually also I came to know Pastor Doug Batchelor from Amazing Facts. Like, these people just so similar things. Now, it came a point of a decision. Okay, everything was now clear to me. What do I do? After knowing all this, what should I do? I decided to become a Seventh-day Adventist. Now, it was on one night I was listening to the radio, a local radio here where I live in Rundu, AWR, Adventist World Radio. If you want to be listening to it, it's 104.3 FM here in Rundu. As I was listening to the radio, it was an Adventist radio. It was just by chance. I didn't know that we have a radio because by then I was not Adventist. I was listening to it, and as we're presenting a certain topic on the judgment, the phases of the judgment, these were the things that I learned before I came across the church. And I'm like, man, I should go to church. Like, this is what I've just been studying, and there's a church nearby who does that. By the way, in this church where I am now, I was exposed when I was little, but I didn't know anything. Nobody ever taught me like the importance of not recognizing God, all those things. I didn't, like I said in the beginning, I didn't grow in a Christian setup, like really Christian setup whereby there'll be Bible study, prayer meetings, all those things. That's not how I grew up. So it was very hard for me during the search. It was all by myself, with God's grace. He made me understand everything. So I began, that day I listened to the radio. It was the same message. Then said, look, okay, I should go to church. I came, I did my VOP. I went for baptism after some lessons. That's how I became a Seventh-day Adventist. I had exposures, of course, when I was very, very young, but I didn't really know. I just moved from church to church. But when I started taking things on my own, like finding the reasons for these, answers for these, everything became clear, and that's how I became a Seventh-day Adventist. But as always, a heart that is changed, when God really sets you free, you want to spread it. People that Jesus met during his lifetime on earth didn't keep quiet after being set free by Jesus. They had this eager in them, like this desire in them to share this joy, this freedom with others that's found in Christ. So when I said free, I said I must not keep quiet. That's why I came up with the channel. So I was thinking, okay, what should I name the channel? And I had an idea, okay. Truth sets free, from John 8:32. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. That's how this channel, where you are right now, came about. I was set free from the questions I had, from the doubts I heard, and so on. Today, everything is clear to me. I encourage you to read the Bible. As I read, I realized this is the remnant church of God. It's true, there may be some errors here and there, there's some defaults here and there, but at the end of the day, it remains God's final church. Jesus plainly said that our days will be like the days of Noah. How was the days of Noah? When you think of the days of Noah, just concentrate on the part whereby people were drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, all those things. But have you ever thought that in the days of Noah, there was only one mode of salvation? The boat or the ark. So the same thing. We're not saying that we are saved by coming to church, but you are saved by being part of God's last day people. And we believe even in other churches, there are people that God is calling. Come out of here, my people. If God say, come out of here, my people, come out to go to where? To his final church, which is this church, which is fulfilling in Revelation chapter 14, Revelation chapter 12, and more. Is the only church preaching the three angels' message in its true meaning. Is the only church keeping all the 10 commandments of God, including the 7-day Sabbath that many people have forgotten. And God has said, remember the Sabbath day. He knew people would forget. So it's the only commandment that starts with the word remember. And I encourage you to study for yourself. Many people came into the 7-day Adventists through studying the Bible. Study the Bible, you're going to become the same.